Some officers earn promotions, citations, but this officer has become more popular sometimes than even those in the movies. He's a bureaucrat who is being feted all across, not just in Mumbai and Maharashtra, but I think across the country. And some would say, well, he's just doing his job. But that's where it becomes unusual. That doing your job in this manner for the safety of food that we all consume is so unusual. Some are calling him the Nayak of Indian bureaucracy right now. We have in our studios today Tukaram Mundhe. He is, of course, the commissioner of the FDA. And while he's built a career around tough decisions and administrative reforms, what he's been doing in the last few weeks has shaken up things, whether it's in the food and beverages industry, whether it's within companies that are delivering food online to you. They are all now on tenterhooks when Mr. Mundhe comes in. Mr. Tukaram Mundhe, thank you so much for joining us in our studios at NDTV Profit. It's truly an honor for our entire team.
Pleasure is mine.
And what you're doing is completely inspirational.
Thank you. I don't think it's really inspirational or I'm doing some extraordinary work. I believe that I'm just trying to do what is expected of my role. Nothing less than that, nothing more than that. And if everybody one of us performs our roles that is expected of, I think we can be a really great society.
थोड़ा आप थोड़ा humble हो रहे हैं. ये मतलब humble diplomatic वाला.
I don't think so. Some of my friends and many of my critics called me arrogant.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you may have a look at it and you would find on television also sometimes this question has been asked multiple times. Okay, you are called arrogant, you don't listen. So this kind of allegations have been there almost throughout my life, but they are bits and pieces, but they are. So it's neither about humbleness. My philosophy is very, very clear right from the beginning, and not in this post alone. Because we have assigned a particular role whenever we are posted in a particular capacity. Are we honest and transparent about what we are expected to do and what we have done? That's how I look at it. And if it succeeds, nothing like it. If it doesn't, at least I have tried.
If you, of course, have this kind of an impact on people that serve the greater public, then that can only be positive, right, from the perspective of the public. But equally on the other side, there is an argument to be made about proportionality. And this has been made even in the court of law.
Right.
To say that if you have a sword, should you use a sword to kill a mosquito? Do you think that there is proportionality?
Absolutely. We go as per the proportionality only, and I can give the data to back it up. I can give the provisions of the Act to convince you and the courts. There is a law in place. Do we follow the law? Yes, we do. Do we follow the processes? Yes, we do. Now the question about it has come up in the context of whether forthwith suspension should be there or not. Why not give notices first and then act upon? This is generally the context in which it has been played out. Now, just for the information of viewers and to the viewers, we act in food sector as per Food Safety and Standards Authority of India Act 2006. There is a section called 32, under which we, the FSOs and other officers, take action. There is subsection 3, proviso is there, very clearly written. In the public health, whenever there is a likelihood of health hazard by the food which is going to be sold or consumed, the designated officer has the right to suspend license forthwith. This is the wording in the Act. So the Act provision is there, particular context is there. Are we following that? Now, if you look at the actions we have taken in last 2 months or time, more than 3,100 inspections have been done during this time, of which 165 odd licenses were suspended forthwith. out of 3,100. And more than 750 were establishment were given improvement notices. Now, if it doesn't sound proportionate, I don't know what the definition of proportionate would be.
So should we just rewind a little bit over here, or thoda sa isko na we take it out of the legal
absolutely.
definitions, etc. Because this is very personal to people, right?
Absolutely.
This is the food that they eat. How did this start? You got posted over here. How? मतलब ये restaurants पर पहले नजर कैसे पड़ी? क्योंकि जो legend है कि ये है, पता ही कि गलत है कि आप एक restaurant में गए, बहुत ही अपर एंड रेस्टोरेंट था, आपने पनीर का एक डिश मंगाया, उसमें टेस्ट थोड़ा ऑफ लगा और अगले दिन आपके आदमी आए वहाँ रेट डालने। ये सही है कि गलत? पहले ये बताइए।
Context is correct, but the facts are not correct.
Okay, so you did go to a restaurant?
Yeah, we did. See, when I joined, it was not the first action, by the way, but it came into highlight it as a first measure. Before that, there were actions also, because I had just joined. Some things were happening. I was taking review. I was looking at how to go about it. I was trying to understand the role of this sector, commissioner's role, and my officers, how do they go, because the background in which I was posted is always been saying that FDA lacks this, that, something like that was there. And when I joined, then as usual, I decided, yes, let us have a look at it. What is the role? What are the officers doing? What is the situation? As we called in your professional terms, as is study, a sort of a thing, we did it. And then, of course, to be studied, the vision, the mission. Of course, department has a vision, but for the next few months, year time, what we should do. So we decided upon, and while I was doing, the actions were going around, particularly prohibited items, actions were going. The first actions we started doing was about prohibited items. There was some occasion my friends called saying that, okay, let us go for a dinner. I said, yeah, it's not good because I'm now food safety commissioner and I have this habit of wherever I go, I just look around. And if I'm going to restaurant, I'm going to look around. And likelihood is that it will not pass the test. So it's better. पहले ही बताया. It's not something it afterthought. No, it's really the great one. I did not ask the name. I said, just think it over again. Because something happens tomorrow, they will blame you, not me. I told them, no, you come over. I have told the concern there, you have to be careful. No, fine enough. I went around 8:39 in the after office hours. As soon as I entered, the first norm was violated because the license, which is supposed to be on the prominent place, it was not displayed. So I did not say anything over there. And I went, and then second, because they were alerted, so they, what type of water would you have? Again, second mistake, you should not have asked me what type of water, because water is compulsory, you have to give potable water. If you demand only, then you have to provide bottled water. That is the second. Then my friend realized, he said, you just go away and bring normal water to that. And then there was interaction, of course, and my friend ordered, he's a Jain, so he ordered paneer. I said, don't order paneer. Definitely it is not going to be the passing the taste of my eye, because I'm not going to eat anyway that one. So उनको पूछा उन्होंने कि yes, is it a real paneer or is analog or what it is? It's real paneer. I again asked, is it really real paneer? जैसे आया मतलब मुझे दे दो, just I checked it. It was definitely not a real paneer which I thought of.
अच्छा, ये आँखों से आपको पता चल जाता है?
I just said there is way of looking at it, how hardness, how soft it is. There is some technical, by and large, it's not very scientific, but by and large you can make it out. I asked him not to eat, so he did not eat. So the friend who called me, he could not eat because I told him not to eat. And then of course other things I told them, and I told the management over there, ki you are violating these laws, please rectify it. I did not do any damn thing over there. After 24 hours, I asked my officers to go and check. So they had very well 24 hours to comply with that. And of course checking took place, and rest is history.
So अभी आपको entry मिलती है कि नहीं restaurants में? Because if a booking goes with the name of Mr. Mundhe,
so
do they tell you? नहीं, हम आज बंद है या full है restaurant?
So मैं तो mostly जाता नहीं हूँ, and somehow it happened that my son's birthday just happened few days back. So he wanted to go to a restaurant with his friends, and he booked online. वहाँ नाम देखते ही कहाँ से ढूंढ लिया, उन्होंने किसी को पूछ लिया मुंडे साहब मेरे यहाँ है क्या? आई हैव नॉट बुक्ड यार, सम फ्रेंड कॉल्ड मी, आई हैव नॉट बुक्ड, सो देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन, नहीं यहाँ पे ऐसा ऐसा है. देन आई रियलाइज, ओह, it's not me, it's my son, I believe. He might have booked it for friends. So this alertness is definitely there. The moment they, I think, saw Mundhe name, then they said that
No.
it is there.
Yeah.
But I personally do not generally go. And there is, because of now the publicity you are making, media is making, social media is making, it becomes a little awkward for me to go anywhere. And I think it is much more awkward for the establishments.
No, but to add to this, काफ़ी बार you have a complaint portal as well, right? Consumers might put in a complaint, and जैसे ही complaint जाता है, there are institutions which are taking action well before the officers even reach. कि बंद कर दिया, बोला under renovation है या कुछ. Do you think that's a good sign?
Absolutely. If what I want is compliance. All of us want is basically safe food, standard food. The compliance we are doing that, there's nothing. I mean, it doesn't give any pleasure for regulatory body like us to go and act, suspend licenses or cancel license or improvement notice. Nobody has a pleasure doing that. Reason being, we are doing this because there is a non-compliance.
Correct.
And if they are so moto doing at their own, that's what we actually expect, that they should do at their own. They should serve only safe and standard food to the public. They should follow the norms. So even if we go, we should not find anything. That's what the wish is. Rather, I would be the happiest person that FDA did not need to go anywhere and FDA office is closed. If that can happen, nothing like it.
Mundhe, I had a question. Now, your approach has been extremely popular on social media. How are you dealing with the response? You are now sort of a celebrity, right? That is my question number one. Question number two is, with this popularity or with this, because this is clearly an issue which is very important and it has resonated, right? So, how does, what is the role that you see social media can play in trying to improve this situation where restaurants are not following norms?
Right. As far as your first question is concerned regarding celebrity, see, it's not about celebrity. Again, I mean, this troops will come, you will be lauded by media, the next day you will criticize. That is all part of the job. Being a public servant, we are all under scrutiny, and we should be, because we are public servants. So I really don't feel that I'm a celebrity, that is first thing. Rather, whatever is being done in social media, otherwise in interpersonal relations, in a way it is good because discussion has started on food sector. Not about me, it's not about me. It's about food sector. It's about food safety, it's about food standards. That's a good thing which has happened, that as a society, as a nation, as a state, as a city, if you are discussing the relevant issue, I think that is really a good thing. Now, what comes out of it is much more important, because we may discuss n number of days, n number of issues, but are we really discussing the solutions, or are we really just diagnosing the problem? I mean, diagnosis is definitely needed. Without diagnosis, you cannot have prognosis, that's absolutely correct. But stopping at diagnosis will not help. I think right now what is happening is, social media, there is a huge discussion. Media is a discussion. Media has brought this issue to the fore. I think that's also important. But stopping at diagnosis will not help us. So we have to look at the ways and means by which we can address the issue at hand. And the issue at hand is definitely food safety and standards. Because if you really look at the disease burden of India, which has transformed inversely since independence, NCDs has occupying a majority, almost 2/3, 65 to 70% of disease burden. Now, one of the major constituents is the food habits which are having here, and that needs to undergo drastic change. To do that, this discourse is very important, and to further the cause in safety and standards, we need to be aware of what are the standards, we need to know about the safety measures, and we need to know these food business operators work in that context and in that manner. Along with, of course, regulatory authority needs to do its job, and consumer need to be very vigilant and aware of this. So in that context, the discussion is really good. Now, we may compare with US, we may compare with European countries, Chinese, whatever we can do. we have our own cultural ethos also. So we have to take that into account, that the food habits which you have need to be as per standards and safety. We don't need to change our culture. What we need is food habits which are needed as per the lifestyle today, because the same might have been different 100 years ago. My cultural habits are there, but that might have been the requirement. Maybe the standards were not there. Today we need it because our lives have become sedentary, our workforce has changed, we do not necessarily have that much manpower, both male and female are working now. So all this, given this context, what we need to look at is ultimately safety and standards, not just looking at tasty food, spicy food, oily food. So all this needs to be looked into, and I think that in that context I really hope that this discussion goes forward, and whatever new legislation or new laws are expected, regulations are expected, that to be made and implemented on the ground. So that FBOs, food business operators who are operating in this sector, also need to come up with that.
Isme, my question is that one part is food safety. Obviously fungus wala khana, fake paneer, वो सब नहीं होना चाहिए. दूसरी बात आपने बात की food habits की.
Yes.
वहाँ पर थोड़ी सी लक्ष्मण रेखा blur होती है क्योंकि
Yes.
that's a matter of choice.
Absolutely.
Where the whole thing with school canteens, etc. You can't sell vada pav next to it.
Yeah.
I mean, the city lives on vada pav. So people have a choice if they want to have
Absolutely,
burger
it is
or
a
if they want to
choice.
have pizza.
Yes.
So there, do you think that you have a role?
Yeah, good question. I am a student of political science,
Oh.
and today we are in democracy, and one of the basic principles of democracy was liberty, which we call J.S. Mill as the father of liberty, John Stuart Mill. One of his principles is that even if you have free will, but you are crossing the dangerous path or a dangerous bridge which is likely to collapse, you know that is going to be collapsed, somebody else is seeing. I have free will to walk on it. But if somebody is saying that it is a danger, that free will can be curtailed to that extent. I am giving this context in the way you are putting it. I as an individual has a free will, absolutely have. Nobody is forcing you to eat this and not that. The question is how your choice, food choice or any choice for that matter, affecting you and society at large. Because humans by nature are social animal. We have a society, we have a state, and when we are living in democracy, democracy is basically based on rule of law. That is the premise and that is the foundation of democracy. Now here, it is not Tukaram Mundhe who is regulating, I am just an implementer. Laws are already in place. What I am trying to implement it. Now the context given you are in school canteen, what should I eat and what should I not eat. That law is made way back in 2020. It's in place since 2021. And the guidelines and regulations are there. I am trying to implement those regulations and guidelines, including deep fried or what is called prohibited item in that sense, not in prohibited in the strict sense of the legal term, but avoid those products in the school canteen, because again if you look at the disease burden, what is happening among the kids, what type of health issues they are facing. One of the major constituencies is the eating habits, and that's why this regulation came into place. Now how these regulations are made? Regulations are made by FSI. There are multiple committees, including scientific committees are there to examine the efficacy, the impact of those food which will have on children. Now if it has found that it is not advisable, that's why it has banned within the school food safety norms and balanced diet for children going to the school. This is the regulation. I am just trying to implement that. So I am not in any way restricting the choice of the people, rather I am increasing with implementation the choice of the children, choice of the student, the school and parents to live healthy life. So ultimately his or her choice is to live healthy and happy life. Now by eating those products which are unhealthy, which is likely to adversely affect the health, he or she is not going to be healthy or happy. Again going back to the principle of freedom, liberty, what it says is, the pleasure and the happiness. I mean, I may go to the benthamite, but looking at it, are we protecting his freedom at large? The answer is yes. It is not restricting of the freedom, but actually promoting his freedom.
And this is also not interpretation, it's the letter of the law.
Absolutely.
So but I do want to ask, and in some of the things that you've just described, Mr. Mundhe, as somebody that goes to restaurants, right? Everybody eats out. But the laws that you have described, even over the course of this conversation, I'm pretty sure that most people don't know 80% or 90% of them.
Even I did not know all these laws before I became a FDA.
So therefore,
yeah.
so
I knew the law, but I did not know there are 22 kinds of food regulations.
Exactly. So that's the point. So if I am to go to a restaurant, what, according to you, as an alert and conscious citizen and somebody who should be aware of these norms, are the 4 or 5 things that absolutely are sacrosanct?
Yeah.
And it's not about, so from your perspective as the FDA commissioner, you need to ensure that there is compliance and there is display of compliance as well.
Right.
That's not as important for me.
Yeah.
Right? I need to make sure that the paneer is actually paneer.
Absolutely.
So from your perspective, what are the few laws that I need to know about? And
rather than knowing laws, I think there are 4 or 5 issues we should look at it. First is, eat what is needed. And most of the time, we don't eat what is needed. We eat what we desire.
But that's a choice.
Yeah.
Agreed. So you are asking me what is to be looked. So I am telling you what is to be looked.
I'm only asking from the perspective of the law.
Agreed. No, I'm coming to that only. Because ultimately, this safety and standards have come from the need-based approach only, which is expected. Because ultimately, you and I have to live a happy life. It's as simple as that. Yeah. To live that, all the laws, whether it's a food law or some other law, this is the attempt in that direction so that everybody follows it. It's not a jungle raj, so we have a rule of law. That is how it is. So when I go there, what should I look at it? First, is it a safe food? Not technically, safe food. So if I have to go there and look at it, I should generally avoid HFSS products. High fatty, sugary, salty, this product I should generally avoid. Once in a while I have it, absolutely fine. If you say that, didn't you have vada pav? I have had. But once in a while, it cannot be a regular feature, it cannot be a very frequent feature. That is how we have to look at it. So, safe food. Secondly, the cleanliness and sanitation, because that is likely to lead to cross-contamination. Cross-contamination lead to again food poisoning and all these things will happen. That is the second issue. Third issue I believe is that you are going there, whether it actually is registered or licensed restaurant, the food where are you eating, or it's without license. Not that our license will abide by all the regulations, not that unlicensed will not abide by anything, but the chances are that which one is licensed, at least he or she knows okay, these are the rules to be followed. That is chances I am taking. Percentage may vary, and as you go ahead, that's what our attempt is, that compliance should be 100%. That is what our attempt is. So that's why it is mandatory to display it on prominent place. And if you have anything, you just can click it and just complain over it. That is third point. Fourth, I believe is that age-appropriate diet we should be conscious of, whether at home or whether at a restaurant. So we on social media Google many things. How many times you and I have said age-appropriate diet and dieting you might have. How many times we have used this technology to understand my food. Now, some may say I have apple and then I put all these things in it and that recommended is there. That's fine. I mean, everybody might not have apple, but at least social media, if you really research, बाकी research करने अच्छा है कि if this is the context, why should I go for? So Google is not a doctor again. I'll tell. It's not recommended also, but I'm talking from the research point of view, whatever looking point of view. So for me, if I'm in 40s or I'm in 50s and I'm in 30s, requirement at 20 is different. Requirement at 40 is different.
साहब आप हमको डिप्रेस कर रहे हैं. Friday evening
वही मैं सोच रहा था कि आज प्लान था जापानीज फूड खाने का, पर अभी सोच रहा हूँ मे भी थोड़ा सा स्प्राउट्स खाना पड़ेगा.
You spoke about Japanese food, so I would recommend you to go read Ikigai.
Yeah, I have.
So if you really, that's what even in this habits actually it speaks about really food habits of the Japanese people which live more than 100 years, wonderful life. One of the reasons is what they eat, how they eat. And ultimately, lastly, it's not just about food also. It is about your lifestyle as a whole. And in that lifestyle is how many times, what time regularly do you eat. It also matters a lot. So all these things I think we should keep in mind, not only at restaurant but overall in our life.
But you know,
I have a quick question. I want to just quickly talk about the role of the FDA here. See, if we talk about, say, a global city like a Singapore or a Dubai, there is a system there, and I would imagine that the restaurants there would follow higher standards of hygiene. And the restaurants comply because they also, when you say rule of law, they are afraid of the system.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of the equivalent of whatever is the commissioner there.
Right.
So I want to talk about in India, in the context of your, since you've taken charge. Previously, I'm not sure whether restaurants were afraid of the system. Now, is there a lacuna in terms of processes, in terms of the rule of law, in terms of even people, that in terms of the staffing that, for example, the FDA has?
Right.
And are there any changes that you're trying to do so that if whenever you move on, people will still be afraid?
It's a good question. I believe that standards across worlds are different. Most of them match. Indian standards are really regarded one of the better ones in the world. I mean, it's topically, and it's not something our standards are bad. Regulations. They are really, we can say, world class when it comes to standards and regulations. But we have to look into the context. This regulation started implemented in 2011, and before that we had Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, which were in existence since 1954. So the food business operators were operating accordingly, the regulators were working accordingly, and of course we were looking at only not adulterated food. That was the context. This is absolute transformation, where we are shifting directly from food adulteration, prevention of food adulteration, to safety and standards. So it's almost a 360-degree kind of a turn, wherein as a food business operator, I don't have to just look at stopping adulteration. I have to prepare as best the standards of the product which I am producing. So I have to look at what is raw material I have received, whatever products I am using, whatever additives I am using it, those are as per the standard. So the whole chain needs to worked upon. And these regulations did not come in one day. The Act started implementing in 11 along with rules in 11, and standards 11, 12, 15, 20, 26, all these standards are evolving over a period of time. So these standards, when new standards or regulation come, there is a time given for its implementation. For every regulation it is given. It may be 6 months, 1 year, whatever time is given. As I told you, school regulations, balanced diet came in 20, started implementing 21. So almost 1 year was there for preparation. Or rather, Act came in 2006, started implementing 2011. So 5 years gap was there, but everybody had to come on board. So this system is evolving. We may be late as compared to the world, bringing in the new safety and standards in 2006 and then implementing 11. But since then, it has an evolving process. That is first part. Second, as far as system is concerned, because earlier it was again prevention of adulteration, staffing pattern and everything was accordingly. Now this is safety and standards. So earlier we used to call food inspector. Now the concept has gone. It is a food safety officer. It's just not about nomenclature change. It's a whole cultural change. Work culture change is there, approach change is there. So my officer goes for our purpose is food safety standard implementation. Our purpose is not just inspection per se. So it's not an inspection branch. That's why online licensing is there, online registration is there. So all these things are falling in place. Yes, it needs to move ahead. Staffing pattern needs to increase because establishment have increased. For example, Maharashtra we have more than 1.2 million FBOs in food sector. So accordingly, proportionally, we have to have that much manpower. But along with that, I think automation, digitization is also need of the hour. So the first step we have taken about is portal, and new things will follow. So system placement is consolidation and improvement is needed. We are working on that. In the long term, you can see right from full automation to digitization. We have studied portals of different countries, including FDA, Chinese, British, and we are making in the process of making our own, which will have end-to-end everything on one portal.
You know, my question to you on that is, a lot of manufacturing units, they come and say, jo MIDC mein operate karte hai, that is MIDC providing us that facility, they have open gutters, etc. How do we operate in that fashion? Two, I was talking to one restaurant who said, हमारे रेस्टोरेंट आने के बाद the public toilet has come next to us, because of which there is a lot of nuisance happening. How do we deal with that? Or even for that matter, home bakers hai, housewives hai who've gone into this kind of a business where abhi a lot of stores who have ordered food from them have actually started sending messages saying आपका FSI license भेजो. How will you actually look at even, forget inspecting, making sure that whatever is prepared from someone's house is going to be of that quality?
Right. Now there are three parts. First, you are talking about MIDC.
Yeah.
Now, MIDC is basically authority where industries are set up.
Correct.
Now, if some business want to start there, MIDC does not have different rules. The rules which are there will prevail. If it is a food business industry, FSI rules will prevail. So, if I am a food entrepreneur, so I have to abide by regulations. When I am setting up that unit over there, whatever, whether it's manufacturing something or restaurant, whatever it is, I have to look at whether those place, that plot, that eatery is accepted as per the regulation or not. That is my responsibility as an entrepreneur. I cannot shift my blame on MIDC. MIDC did not come and ask you to set up. MIDC did not tell you that yes, we are compromising, it is not something SEZ, it is out of the law of India. It's not like that. There are different industries. Applicable laws are also applied to them. It's not just food safety, FSI laws are applicable and others are not. That's not the case. So that argument is wrong. Secondly, you said that about homemade food, right? This homemade food, once it starts business, it becomes FBO. You are cooking at your home, eating at your home, it's not FBO. The moment you start a business, you become food business operator. The moment it becomes a food business operator, you have to have all these things.
You
The purpose is what?
How many houses will you go to check?
No. See, please understand. It is not about households. That's why where this quick commerce platforms come in. Now, they are also regarded as FBOGP they are serving, and that's why in my HRE order, hotel, restaurant, eateries order is very clearly mentioned that you have to ensure whatever product you are purchasing from, it has to be registered, it is following FSI. That's why we can take action against them also. Correct. So, it is not going to each one. What is expected is compliance, and we go in rare cases, that is one. So, anybody who is making a business, there is nothing wrong in home-based business, but please follow, because this is ultimately affecting the safety of the people. That is why. I think there was a third point.
No, so because we know you are short on time, and we have so many questions that we want to put in, I just want to, we'll do this quickly. I want to focus on one point which Alex had picked up in the beginning. Proportionality. You explained that you're going by law.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about practicality.
Yeah.
There was one statement by a court who said there are 2 insects. उसके लिए आपने बंद कर दिया. We live in India after all.
Absolutely.
We live in India after all statement is resonating.
Yeah.
It's a hot, humid country.
Right.
Overcrowded.
Right.
मक्खी मच्छर कॉकरोच तो आएंगे.
Right.
तो फिर थोड़ा सा तो आपको ये practical है क्या?
So we live in India. The laws are Indian. They are made in India. They are science-based laws. It's not something some person has made it. There is a huge process undergoes while making the laws. Particularly this way, there is a scientific committee at national level. Experts from the different field and scientists from that field are called for deliberation on that. And after due deliberation, consultation, laws and regulations are made. Do you think that committee, these regulations are made in the void? Absolutely not. They are Indian context.
My question is it practical?
Yes, I'll come to that. Because you said the Indian conditions. So the first part is making laws. So laws are made in India taking into consideration Indian conditions. Everything is thought of. Now, you may agree, you may not agree with it. That can be debated about. But laws are in the Indian context. That's the first part. Second part is, I don't know that comment because that is not come in the order. So maybe that is made in the while interaction was there. So I was not present. So I will not comment on that. But we don't suspend a license just for 1 mosquito or 2 mosquito. Let me be very, very clear about this.
What is the minimum number?
There is no, it's not about mosquito alone. It's a whole issues, because that is a comment. One point may be there. There are multiple points. There is a schedule 4, what you call it. That is non-negotiable. Schedule 4 is there, absolutely non-negotiable. And that has direct impact on the health of the person. How it is held? Because it becomes unsafe, right? Now, I have seen restaurant, I will not name it here, because you are coming from court background. So in one of that is a restaurant where kitchen is set up on open drain and it is videotaped and its video is available.
Wow.
Now, would you call it one mosquito? So, I mean, making headlines, attracting something is one thing. Please have a look at the inspection report. And I can show you inspection, there is a detailed inspection, objective reports are there. So, it's just not about one mosquito, it's just not about unhygienic condition. It is about regulations. And particularly so, this proviso is made where it is affecting hygiene of the people directly and adversely affecting the health of the people. That we have to establish, and that speaking order is done by the Assistant Commissioner. By the way, one more context in that, this inspection is done by Food Safety Officer. The report goes to the one more senior Assistant Commissioner, he is called Designated Officer. He or she takes a call on it, not the FSO who takes it. He just gives the facts along with evidences. On that basis, this decision is made by the Assistant Commissioner whether to go for improvement notice, whether to go for suspension, whether to just give warning. That context is there. And that's why again number, I will come back to numbers. Out of 3100, 165. If you are looking at only hotels number, restaurant number, around 900 we got, and I think 100 odd were suspended. Now, why you will say that proportionality of that to this is there? Because this is directly affecting, this is absolutely restaurant you are serving day in and day out. Now, if my officer does not suspend the license, that likelihood that that food will be consumed by somebody, which is going to affect, maybe food poisoning is there, what happens after that? The other question, proportionality, what happens to the employment? Because there is employment, there is economy. Now, should as a state, proportionality, look at hundreds of people who eat every day in restaurant or just 25? I have to look both. As a state, we have to look both. But again, it does that principle of proportionality does not apply here? So, we cannot take one side, you have to be neutral and absolute. So, it is not about mosquito, it is about overall compliance of the regulations and the level at which the compliance or non-compliance is there. On that basis, we take decision, it's objective decision, it's not something subjective. If some officer hears and the ABF feels that no, it's not proportionate, they have a resort, appeal lies before me as per the law. They should come, they should tell, I hear them out, I'll give my decision. I have done so. So, what some people who have gone to court, they have a writ petition, they have the authority to go to court, nobody prevents from doing that. But they are also not having this resort, how they resort. Now, I will tell you in this context, there was certain restaurant or FBOs which had come to me. I heard them and then I asked one or two questions to them and they said no. I said I reserve for order, but these are the compliance. I am very open to them because these are non-compliances. No, give us a time. They sought time on record. I gave them a next date, and in between they go to the court and tell this has happened. Now, these stories, facts will not come to you. These are the things happening over there. So, it's not as simple as it looks. It's quite complicated, and we are absolutely clear because when the businesses are there, of course, it is going to affect businesses. We as a state are also concerned about GDP. We ultimately, government wants the growth, GDP growth. Economic growth.
I'm going to ask you a direct question.
Yeah, please.
Has there been any attempt so far after your raids and all of that to bribe you? People have come and said,
No.
man lo.
Absolutely no.
Because the whole system has been known to be...
Absolutely. I don't think anybody will dare with me. Absolutely. And I don't think anybody dare with me with this. I mean, they can say things, oh, he is arbitrary, but about bribes, I don't think nobody. And if somebody is thinking of that, they better think 100 times.
Other implicit pressures? I know someone.
I'll
tell you a beautiful story. You remember? There was one on social media group. Something came to me from my friend, and it was written that there was some doctor. I know Tukaram Mundhe, he is a dentist and he is my patient. So if any work, let me know, we can get it immediately. That was written in the WhatsApp and the chat. And my friend happened to be one of that members, so he forwarded it, not me, actually my brother's friend. He sent it to brother sent it to me. I said, I don't know this person. So immediately I called my vigilance. There is a vigilance wing, by the way. So if my officers are doing something wrong, somebody, there is vigilance wing, there is an officer, check it who is there. And the person was found to be in Pune, some area, I forgot the doctor. And then ask, go there, I don't know him, check it. And the doctor was found around, my police and these people went around 7:30, 8 in the evening. And then he was caught, just explain, he was saying. So we filed FIR by the department. He then again gave, saying that sorry, I was doing something, in the haste I said something like that. So these, some people are doing that, might do that. But my is very clear, even if somebody knows me, even he or she is my relative, please don't go by anybody's words. If you have any issue, I am there. You can complain on portal, you can contact me. So you have to believe nobody but the law.
I have a question for you. And through whatever you've described till now, you said that you are a student of political science.
Yeah.
You are an executor of the law, a guardian of the law. You are portrayed not because you've said anything to that extent as Nayak. Everybody's watched the movie.
Okay.
Right?
I also.
You watched the movie.
Yeah.
And so, inspired?
And so therefore, the question for you, Mr. Mundhe, the question for you, Mr. Mundhe, as somebody who's an executor of the law, a guardian of the law, have you ever thought of being one of the people that forms the law, of being elected?
No, absolutely not. But whether I can frame the law as a secretary, we do are in the process of doing that. As an officer, when I worked as animal husbandry secretary or
so that's possible.
So you are talking about legislative point of view. No,
Politics.
Politics.
Absolutely not.
Why?
Not my cup of tea.
Why?
I am a public servant.
You would be a public servant as well.
Yeah, of course. They are public servant, I am public servant. So anyway, I am performing role of public servant, but in different context as an officer, civil servant. Now there, because being a political science student, by the way, I am also interested very much in psephology. I have studied little bit psephology. It's a part of political science. There are certain requirements. The person like me who is very forthright and upright, I don't think he will be or she will be accepted in politics.
Politics at all.
So it's not my cup of tea.
I agree. Maybe that's.
I mean, many people call me arrogant not because I am arrogant, but forthright. There is a very, very thin line between forthright and arrogance. So I am too forthright. I am very too open.
Yeah.
Is it good or bad can be debated upon, but that's my nature. It's not something which is artificial. So I don't think in politics, as I understand as of now, this will really work.
Before we wrap up, I just want to show you some memes we put together and Nazamin team put together. Nayak in real, Nayak in real. ये एक है. We should show the next one. तुकाराम मुंडे धुरंधर का यहाँ पर रेफरेंस है पब्लिक एंड केटरर्स.
So who is Dhurandhar here? I don't see. अच्छा ऊपर वाला. Okay.
You are Tukaram Mundhe.
I don't know whether to like it or not to like it.
Okay. Let's see the next one. This is caterer's expression when you arrive as a wedding guest. पसीने छूट रहे हैं.
अच्छा दिखा at least for caterer, not the wedding party.
अच्छा एक और अगर है, I think we have more. Yeah. Manchurian without color looks like kanda bhaji and Chinese bhel, like Bikaji namkeen. Thanks to Tukaram Mundhe. Basically, colors
But
are
colors
good.
are
additives are gone away.
Yes,
or
which is
reducing.
good.
That's good.
That's good. Okay, last one. The last one. अच्छा वैसे 1000 है जो भी हमने चुने हैं ये वाले हैं. ये why do you think it's become such a rage? You started this interview by saying I'm doing my job.
I still believe that.
Does
I'm
this
just
show,
trying. I'm not aware whether it's successful or not.
Does this show that no one else has done the job? That's why it's highlighted so much.
I don't know what to say to that, but basically again, I would not say that nobody had done that. Absolutely not, because I could do this work, but there is some foundation there. I could not start in vacuum if there were no post, there were no structure, there are no laws. I could not do very clearly. Now, some may say they have done good job, bad job, average job. That is a debate. That will apply to me also. Whether good, bad, some will say bad, some will say good. That's fine. But it is erroneous to say that nobody has done that.
Who do you look up to as an example? For the work that you do, who is your inspiration?
I am inspired by my inner voice, to be honest, because I think ultimately I am responsible to my conscience. And if you are honest with your conscience, and if you think that, because I think that I am being a public servant, I have a responsibility to myself and to the society. That's the bottom line on which I work.
Mr. Mundhe, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming in
Sure.
from our entire team.
Thank
I
you.
think
Thank
this has
you,
been
sir.
absolutely amazing. There you have it. The man who has just by following the letter of the law and the spirit of the law changed the way that we look at our rights as citizens when we order food online, go to a restaurant. And yes, there'll be a lot of debate, but I think this is an example of what real leadership can do. Thank you so much, Mr. Mundhe, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.